Connie at Salt and Wool Studio. Today I'm doing tutorial 11 on the trees in Miss Warren's garden. So follow along and let's get started. So the first thing I'm going to show you are my colors I'm going to use today. So I'm going to use a light green highlighting color, and this one is Briggs & Little, and it's fern green. Secondly, I'm going to use a medium color of a grassy green. And I have this in two colors I'm going to use for my tree. So I'm going to show you both of those colors. So this is my grassy green color. See that? So this one is a hand dyed, and this was just some wool cloth that I had like it. And then my third color was another hand dyed, and this is just a dark green color. Do you see that? So that's my colors that I'm going to use. But I'm also going to put a little tiny speck of some of this yellow from the Malabringo yarn that I have. And I'm going to put some small tiny hooks of this in there at the end. Oh, and one more, sorry. I'm also, with my dark color, I'm going to pair that with some velour. So this is the velour. So that's also very dark. So when you're hooking your trees, you're going to need three colors. You're going to need a light, a medium, and a dark color. So the first color, like I said, we're going to use is my light color. And so you grab whatever light you have. Then second, we're going to go in with a medium color. So that's my medium color. See how much different that is? Whoops, sorry. Different that is from my light to a medium. And then we're going to jump from the medium to this dark color. So there we go. So that's my color palette for the trees. And the other thing I want to tell you about trees is, so when I hooked two trees already. So I have three trees. That's a tongue twister. 3 trees in this rug. And the first one I hooked it upright. And then the second tree, I hooked it upside down. And I want to show you the difference because something happens when you hook upside down. And when you hook upright, especially a tree, it's very distinctive. You see a tree and you instantly think triangle. So when you hook a tree upright, you hook the triangle, even though you're intentionally trying to hook a branch or branches on the tree, you will hook it more like a triangle. When you flip your rug upside down, you will hook it more like a branch on every branch on the tree. And I'll show you now what I did and what I mean. Okay, so here's my upright hooked tree. See that? I hooked that in a perfect triangle tree. No, hardly any textured out branches at all. And then this one I hooked upside down. Do you see what I did? There's a lot of jagged edges to this one. See that? Now I put a lot of highlighting intentionally in this tree, just because they're such big trees, and this rug, I didn't want these to be, I wanted these to be more blended into the back than stand out. So I have used colors from the front of my rug and put them in the trees. So now we're going to start the third tree, and what I do when I hook my trees, I start with my highlighting color first, and that's what I'm going to do here. So now I'm just taking some of my color, and I'm going to imagine where the branches would be, and I'm going to put those in. And these are the highlighting colors on the branch. So this is where the light would hit it the most. And what I want to do here is you don't want to hook anything in a straight line, more than 1 or 2 loops. And you want to have like little chunky sections that are kind of jagged everywhere, like what I'm doing here now. So let me just hook this in, and then you can have a look at it. There we go. So I got enough highlighting color in there for now. And the next color I'm going to grab is our darkest color. And our darkest color, we're going to just fill in some of the pockets in around where you would think it would be darker on your tree. So not really on the outside edge, but underneath the green, the bright green, and in amongst here. And you can run it together. See how I did this one over here, and I just ran my dark green in amongst, like so. So that's what I'm going to do next. So you need to have 3 value colors. You need a light, a medium, and dark, as I was saying. But they don't have to be green. It's very important to know that. You can hook your trees in any color, and it will still be a tree. You can hook it in a purple or a blue shade or a gray shade, and it's still going to look like a tree, and you're still going to think it's a tree. When you start seeing things in color is when you can really hook a rug really well. And I mean that by, like, if you hook a tree right now, you might think, oh, a tree's green instantly. No, a tree can be any color you want it to be. A tree just needs 3 value colors, right? A light, a medium, and a dark. So you can use any color you want as long as you follow the rule of color with a light, a medium, and a dark value. You can hook anything you want once you start seeing things in colors and shades, and not necessarily what they are and what they should be, but what is. So I mean by, like, in real life, of course, you would see a tree and you would see a green tree. But in rug hooking, your tree can be anything you want it to be. And that's the beauty about hooking patterns, is you can do whatever you want in your pattern. You don't have to have a green tree. You can have a purple tree. You can have a pink tree. Light, medium, and dark pink. It doesn't matter as long as your tree has 3 value colors. And once you master using a light, a medium, and a dark color in your color palette, like at least 3. 5 is ideal, but 3 is fine. But once you master learning how to use 3 colors in your color palette, you can hook anything you want. So let's go on, and I'm going to finish up this dark color now. So I'm just going with the dark velour color here now. So the dark velour is going to go right underneath that bright green, and I'm going to keep towards the middle of the tree. I'm not going to try and hook much on the outside edges of those branches. Okay, now I'm going in with my dark green wool, and I'm hooking underneath that dark green velour. I'm keeping the dark color all together. I'm not hooking it in other places. I'm just hooking right up against that dark green velour. There we go. Okay. Now I'm using my medium green wool cloth. I'm just hooking up a few of the places that are still open. There we go. Now, a little bit of the medium green valued wool. Now, once I get everything done, I'll stand back so you can get a really good view of my tree. Here we go. Now, there's my tree all done. And do you see that? See the difference? See the edges of my tree? I hooked it upside down, and hooking upside down gives you those branches that you want. So I'm almost finished this rug now. I'm just doing the sky, and I want to show you my sky material that I'm using. And I'm using what's called Heaven's Way Rasta Malabringo. It's a beautiful blue color. And I have, I found this, I bought this at the Hook-In last month. Here in Gander, and it's from Muddy Cove Designs, and it's a beautiful variegated wool in blue and white sky colors. And then I use just a bleached white and some white roving to hook my sky. So those textures together, the roving with the Malabringo and my wool, kept with the consistency of the textures in my rug. And the other thing I did is in my house on the roof, I hooked some of that in wool cloth strips. Again, trying to keep with the texture of the rug. And another thing I done in this rug with texture was I actually went back and decided on adding some ribbon, some real dark, almost iridescent ribbon to the dark green bushes in the poppies across the top of the rug. And the same thing in the leaves of the tulips. I put in an iridescent ribbon. So with all of those different textures, it really keeps the theme of the rug and being really nice and bright and airy and lively and cheerful. And yeah, so it's going to be a gorgeous rug when I get it finished. And I'll just show you what I've got done so far. And I do have one more tree to hook. Then I'm going to do that now, and I'm going to show you how I hook that type of tree as well. But in the meantime, keep in mind, there are several types of trees. We will be covering other trees, birch trees and oak trees, and how to hook each one, because every single type of tree is a different way. Leaves can be done so many different ways on trees, and just leaves on rugs in general, which is something else I could probably do later on. So I do have one more tree to do, and before I start the next tree, I just want to show you what I'm doing with my sky. I want to keep my sky in the same consistency as the rest of the rug with different textures. So I went through my box. I really don't have a lot of options. I do have this beautiful Rasta, and it's I believe it's called Heaven's Way. I'm not 100% sure on that. Maybe if somebody knows, they can drop a comment and let us know. So I'm using this, and I also have this variegated wool. And you see that, like it's different shades. I bought that at the last Hook-In I was at here in Gander. And I'm using a white bleach. And for different texture, I'm using some roving. So all I'm doing with my roving is just cutting it in pieces, like so, like this, and I'm splitting it. I'm just splitting little bits, like so, and I would take this piece and I would just pull it a little, like this. And that's hookable. You can hook this just like this. And all I do is I just twist it up a little bit, and that's it. And you just hook that just like you would wool. So that gave me the different texture in my sky. So I want to show you that. And then we're going to go on and we're going to hook that tree on the other side of the house. So here is my sky. Do you see the different textures I have in there now? That's making it really pretty. And here's a little bit of roving. You see? So that's how I'm doing my sky. Now, the other thing was, oh, right, I did put a couple little hooks of color in my tree, right here and here. That's it. No more. I didn't complicate that. When I finished the house, I did put some wool cloth. There is a wool cloth edging around this roof, down the side and across the top and this side here. I didn't do too much with the house because well, one thing is I want to do a rug study on houses. So I'm going to leave that for another time. In the meantime, I'm going to do the tree on the other side of the house, which is different than the one we just did. The one that we're going to do now has a tree trunk showing exposed up through the tree. This is more of a primitive style tree. If you were hooking with wool cloth strips or noodles, this is an ideal tree for that because it would really give you that primitive style that you would be looking for. In the meantime, I'm just going to use some regular wool, and I'm going to do that in the 3 values. So let me grab those. So I'm going to go with my light, my medium, and my dark. Probably these 3 here. I'm going to go with those 3 here again. So light, medium, dark. Just the 3 colors this time, and I'm going to show you what I'm going to do. We're going to start again with the darkest color, and I'm going to hook a section on each one, and I'll show you now. So here's my tree, and the first thing I did was I put in the dark, and I'm just started, and so I'm imagining the sunlight is coming from this way, coming this side. So I shaded this side of the tree that's close to the house because the sun would not get at this side of the tree so much. And the bottom branch of the tree would not get any sunlight. So the darkest part of your tree is going to be on this side. So this is what I did. Then I'm going to go back in now with my medium and put that on top of that dark green. So now you can see I went in with the medium green. And see, I kind of left it a little thicker on the left side because this side is more shaded. Again, like so. Now the next thing I'm going to do is my light green. There we go. Now my light green is on. Now the next thing I need to do is to hook that trunk in. So I'm going to use 2 colors for this. I'm going with a chocolatey dark brown. Actually, I don't know the name of this color, but it's a really dark brown. And the second color I'm going to use is this one, and this is called Phoenix Ember. Phoenix Ember. So that's my 2 colors for my tree trunk. So now I just wanted to show you, I put the dark chocolatey color on the left side of the tree trunk only, because this is the side that's not so much sun again, so left side. Now I'm going to fill in the other color on the right and the middle. And there we have it, and that's my other tree done. So our next tutorial will be on Eli's stage, and that's a new pattern that I'm hoping to have ready to go by this weekend, so I can start filming early next week and do our next tutorial. So stay tuned for that. And yeah, so that's it for today. If you enjoyed this video, please like and share and help me grow my page. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you on the next one.